And welcome back for part 2 of shooting around with a rifle. 315 killed the teammate. Alright, well that's an interesting way to start off the part here. That landmine that I really wanted to defuse in case of friendly vehicles, once I got killed, I guess a friendly Jeep rolled up and true to form, it ran over the landmine. So I guess even I'm getting into the spirit of team killing on this unusual team. And you can see there, even though he went prone and looked like he started to get some good hits, man, I wish I had a landmine out there. That guy with the machine gun, it's just, it's very difficult to win a duel against a competent rifleman when you're at a distance. Alright, instead of using a landmine, I'm just gonna... Alright, that killed the guy in the Jeep. Kept on moving. Maybe he jumped out of the Jeep at the lot. No, there's the dead guy there in the Jeep. It's interesting, you know, you can use X-Packs sometimes to deal with even fast-moving vehicles rather than a landmine. The advantage is that everyone knows not to drive over a landmine, but usually it's safe to drive over an X-Pack. Also, you can potentially switch to the... That was a nice one. You can get a larger blast radius too. So people can avoid driving over the landmine, but it's more difficult to avoid the blast radius of an X-Pack, especially since it's unclear exactly what the boundaries of the blast radius are going to be. And actually got sniped. That's fairly rare, as you've probably seen if you've been watching the entire Let's Play series. Although, see, what happened there is I was standing still to do multiple shots against the same target and not moving between shots. Now that can be something, if you feel relatively safe, that you might want to do just to quickly get those shots off. You can also crouch to reduce the amount of recoil on the rifle. That guy just barely made it up in the air without hitting the village huts with his wing. Yeah, the disadvantage of trying to use an X, and I got team killed by somebody. Spieler, I don't think he was one of the earlier team killers, so I guess that's yet another team killer. What was I saying before? Yeah, the disadvantage of using an X-Pack instead of a landmine is you've really got to have enough time, because there's some difficulty switching over to the detonator. And of course you also have to make sure you time the detonation right. Well, there's another example, I guess, of being sniped. And again, I was remaining completely still, doing multiple shots. I guess if there were any map to be sniped on, this would be a pretty good one as an engineer, with a lot of snipers out there apparently. The trouble, of course, with snipers is that they're not going to make any headway toward capturing new bases. And we haven't been making much headway against this northern base. Often there's a stalemate because of the long walk between these bases. But we have been making huge gains in terms of kill-to-death ratio. So even though there's been no ticket bleed on either side, instead of being behind by tickets, we are now actually ahead by a few tickets. So now as a sniper, since you can't really capture bases, your main use is going to be deterring people from using things like flak guns and mounted machine guns, and as counter sniping as well. But also, primarily, you're going to try to get a really strong kill-to-death ratio. If as a sniper you're getting killed a lot, then you're really kind of undoing the whole point of being a sniper, which is to be able to kill enemies while not being killed yourself. So a sniper generally is going to have less impact on the battlefield. And I missed the Jeep and killed one of my own guys, so apparently I'm one of the team killers now. So, but anyways, as I was saying, if you can't rack up tons of kills because you're a sniper, and you can't capture flags because you're a sniper, the least you can do is just not die. There's always kind of a question here of whether or not you should make the move from the north base or airfield over to the other one, or whether you should allow the enemy to come to you and just kind of play defense. And I think so far I've done better when I've kind of... Wow, that was an interesting crash there. I think I've done better kind of sitting back and being more on defense. Now that was actually a good shot there from the sniper. I was moving, I think falling down the hill a little bit. So hopefully if they've got lots of snipers hanging out at that north base, they're putting enough bullets out there to hit some of the moving targets. You can see sometimes with the engineer rifle, particularly this version, how easy it can be to just pick off enemies who have no real shot at killing you. Since you can move a lot more than a sniper can while maintaining your accuracy, it tends to be a much better option for sniping, particularly medium to long range distance. And I don't even know how I killed the teammate that time. I can see how maybe the blast radius wasn't far enough to knock out that tank, although it's smoking. I didn't see a friendly there at all. So at least 3 team kills I've racked up so far, plus I joined in the middle of the round. Probably isn't going to do wonders for my overall score in this little competition. Also, I haven't been running around with the tank either, or near me. Alright, so now we have a really nice ticket lead. 18-32. Not much chance for the Americans to come back from this, although they are making... They made a decent push from the north base, presumably. We're not really neutralizing their base. In fact, all of our people are just kind of scattered around the airfield, not really making an offensive push. But I can't really fault that too much because the airfield's so important and you've got advantages when you're on defense. But still, it's interesting that we're the side that has all these vehicles from the airfield, and the other team's the one that's actually making more progress pushing up against our base than we are against theirs. Often useful to make use of the windows and buildings in this game. From their perspective, especially at a distance, they're just not going to be able to see you at all, especially if they have shadows enabled. Just another advantage of defense on this map. And that's it. Ty's score goes to the highest kill. See you on the next episode.